Thank you, sir. General Votel, is there any credible opposition to Assad left in Syria?
Senators, you know, our mission is defeat of ISIS.
Yeah,
Certainly,
that's not my question.
right.
My question is, are there any credible opposition left to Assad in Syria?
the only opposition that I am aware of is those that are out in the vicinity of Damascus and the Ghouta area, and then up in the Idlib area that still control some terrain, so they do pose some kind of threat to the regime.
Who's winning in Syria? The civil war.
Well, again, from a civil war standpoint, it would appear that the regime is ascendant here.
Do you see any likelihood that the forces you just named can topple Assad in the next year?
That's not my assessment, Senator.
Is Iran helping Assad?
Iran has been a key enabler of the regime for a while.
Is Russia helping Assad?
They also are a key enabler of the regime.
Is it too strong a statement to say that with Russia and Iran's help, Assad has won the civil war in Syria?
I don't think that is too strong of a statement. I think they have provided him the wherewithal to be ascendant at this point.
Is it still our policy that Assad must go?
I don't know that that's our particular policy at this particular point. Our focus remains on the
Well, if
defeat
you
of
don't
ISIS.
know, I doubt if anybody knows, because this is your job to take care of this part of the world. What does it mean if Iran and Russia and Assad have won in Syria? What does it mean to us and to the region?
It means that we will contend with this with this influence of Iran in this particular area and with the influence of
What
Russia.
does it mean to Israel?
Well, certainly from an Iranian standpoint, it means that Iran could be in a position where they could support Lebanese Hezbollah better and then pose a
They're
greater
actually
threat to
doing that,
Israel.
aren't they? They're actually doing that as we speak, the Iranians.
We've certainly seen some activities that would certainly support
What does
that.
it mean for Jordan?
It means that, again, there are unstable regimes to their north, and that pose threats to them as well.
Thank you for your clarity and your honesty. And it is not your mission in Syria to deal with the Iranian Assad-Russia problem. That's not in your things to do, right?
That's correct, Senator.
Do you think it should be?
At this point, I think if that was the decision that was made by the coalition leadership here, with the U.S.-led coalition leadership, then we would pursue that.
Detainees, we've rolled up about 400 and something detainees in Syria. The Syrian Democratic Forces have about 400 and something people in their charge. Is that correct?
Senator, I think you're referring to about 400 or so foreign terrorist fighters that they have within their detention.
These are the people that did not die for the cause, but were captured as we liberate Raqqa and other areas. Is that correct?
And as they attempted to escape the areas in which we are operating right now.
Do you think we have a credible plan to detain these people?
We actually do have a plan to detain them on the ground, and we are working with our partners in the government here to work to get them back to their countries so they can be prosecuted in accordance with their laws.
If they don't go back to their countries, do you think we have a credible plan to detain them inside of Syria long term?
We are working on improving the capacity of the Syrian Democratic Forces to do that right now.
Okay. Africa, General Waldhauser. The Sahel is made up of how many countries?
Mali, well, five or so, yes.
Of those 5 countries, how many would you characterize as failed states?
I don't think there's a failed state there yet, but there's certainly fragile states in that area.
If the trends continue, will they become failed states?
It's possible.
Do we have a strategy to prevent that?
Our strategy is to support the G5 Sahel. We do that bilaterally with these countries in order for them to take...
Is it working?
It's in the infancy stages. I mean, this G5 program has just begun. It's something that you have 5,000 individuals covering a very large territory.
So 5,000 people are covering 5 countries.
That's correct, the border areas.
I'm not a military guy, but that doesn't sound enough. Does it matter if the Sahel becomes a region of failed states to us, and if so, why?
It does matter because the groups that are in that area, ISIS, JNIM, and the like, Some of these have aspirations to conduct things regionally as well as into Europe and into our homeland. It is very important that we contain or that we degrade and we work with our partners, because if we had a failed state and if these groups took over that failed state, then you have a situation where it's just vast wastelands where people can plan attacks against the United States.
One last question. Is Libya a failed state, fragile state, state on the mend?
It's very difficult to characterize Libya, but I'd have to say a fragile state. I mean, Salome, who's the UN representative, has got a plan to try to work through restructuring of the political committees, a constitution, and potentially a vote later this year. But the bottom line is, unless the security is there, unless a fair election can take place, and unless those individuals who are part of the process will agree to the outcome of the election, then it wouldn't serve any purpose at this point.